and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Yeah, it should have burned down, shouldn't it? I am on my morning mental. I bid you all a grand rising. I'm on my morning mental. I know a lot of y'all tune in for this, and maybe some of you come for other reasons, but we know why we're here. If you are just joining me, just waking up, the sun has kissed your face. The Most High has allowed you one more chance to join us in this place, this classroom, this prison, this hell on earth. One more time. But sometimes it feels good, doesn't it? Sometimes it feels good. Sometimes you have that moment where you have a happy thought and you think to yourself, that'll be all right. And it doesn't feel so bad being here, but we stay anyway. So I bid you a grand rising. Welcome back. I'm on my morning mental this morning. Before I begin, I have to say to somebody, I'm not sure who I'm talking to, and maybe somebody finally got the message. Maybe somebody listened and now they got the message. I'm on my morning mental. Y'all check this out. Y'all know that for my entire time here on Instagram, it has been a roller coaster. I've been thrown in Instagram jail for telling the truth. I have had my people blocked, not getting alerts when we go live. I've also had people tell me that, sound goes out. We had all kind of problems here. As a matter of fact, it was so incredible that we started talking about this was the most interrupted live stream on Instagram while we watch others do things that we couldn't. Interestingly enough, yesterday we did a live stream that was seen by the entire world on multiple platforms at the same time. It was all platforms, even some platforms outside of what most folks in America are even aware of. It covered all of the UK. It covered all of the continent of Africa. It covered Jamaica, and it covered the Middle East. And nobody noticed until we were done that we had been on for 2 hours and 43 minutes with no interruptions. No, nothing. It was perfect. It was as if we were on a completely different platform. And we kept waiting. And you all know we do 60-minute blocks here at Facts. I mean, at the Morning Mental and over Facts Over Feelings. So we always have to break because there's a 60-minute limit. Yet we were allowed yesterday to talk to the world for almost 3 hours, nonstop. So I'm not sure who at Instagram got the message that now that we're leaving you, and probably taking a good number of people with us, that now you want to treat us right. Now, when you see you're starting to lose, you want to act right. You think that, okay, if we censor him right now in front of company, in front of the entire world, it would solidify their case. That's what I thought. I did. That's what I thought. And I'm about to take y'all somewhere. I want y'all to hold on. I got to flip this on you. You know I got it. I'm not just giving you this for nothing. I'm setting you up mentally. I'm waking you up this morning right here on the Morning Mental. I'm about to put something together that most of y'all have been distracted. So you didn't know what they did. Hold on a second, because I'm about to really turn up in here. So that's what I thought. So I'm feeling good. I'm like, there's a brighter day. But we keep forgetting. No, I'm not going to use the word forget. Forget's the wrong word. We keep falling under the spell of distraction. And they coming up with some good stuff to distract you. They coming up with some stuff to distract you that even when I tell you, like I did before, when I tell you this, you're going to be like, oh, man, that's how they work. And people always talking about, well, who's the they? Who's the they you talking about? See, that's the problem. They want to get you hung up on some petty discussion trying to identify who they is without letting you just come to the conclusion that irregardless of who they is. If I can see the proof of what they're saying exists right in front of me, if I can touch it, if I can smell it, if I can taste it, I don't give a damn who they identity is. I know they exist. People know you exist by the fruit of your work, not by the reputation that you claim to have. Y'all know exactly where I'm going with this, but let me do this revelation on you first. Oh, we got a few things that I want to put out this morning on the Morning Mental. It's been an interesting weekend, hasn't it? It's been a weekend of growth. It's been a weekend of awareness. It's been a weekend of the message is out there. But I gotta rip off the veil this morning. Here we go again. Watch this. So when I noticed that this happened, like most people do, I thought I had something to do with it. I immediately thought that I was important enough that they finally gave in, that we had reached this plateau. Yeah, we broke 100,000. I'm like, no, they were still censoring us after that. What made yesterday so different? Now I need my students to stay with me. Y'all remember about 4 months ago. No. It was, matter of fact, it was during the beginning of the quarantine. So we're talking around March timeframe. You all remember I did a story about a piece of legislature that was moving through the Congress. And it raised all kind of red flags and bells and whistles, but they didn't make a lot of noise about it because they thought they could slide it on through. And then the only time that you find out about it is when you break the law. How many of y'all ran into a situation where they try to tell you that you did something wrong and you're like, hold on a minute, is that against the law? And they be like, yeah, it's been against the law since da, da, da. And you go and do your research and find out they passed a law. Okay, let me give you an example. How many of y'all know that the State Department can suspend your passport? Watch this. They can take your passport from you, your valid passport. Really, you shouldn't need nothing to travel back and forth, but we're going to play the little game. Your passport, which is a control item, that they can suspend your passport. This is the State Department. You know what the State Department is. State Department deals with diplomacy with other countries. They make sure that we stay on the even keel. We stay in the geopolitical war. That's what they do. But they can suspend, because they issue passports, suspend your passport if, watch this, And brothers and sisters who don't understand the impact of the system, if you can work it out, work it out. Don't stop giving the fate of our people and putting it in the hands of other people who don't give a damn about them. Then when it's time for them to do certain things to protect you, they can't because their hands is tied. They can't come to your aid and protect you because you put them in a system that put a noose around their neck that if they try to help you, it's going to hang them. You did that. This is an example. Because this is what they took from you, turned around, and now using it against you. Somebody in the Clinton administration slid a law in that said that if you, and I'm not saying that anybody's off the hook here, if you owe, you do what you do. But in the child support system, if you fall behind so much in arrears or you fall behind so much in payments, okay, or you have a judgment against you, let's say you just found out about the kid, so the kid is 5 years old, so they're gonna say you owe all that back to them, so you automatically got a big amount. If you fall into that category, they can suspend your passport, and you can't get it back unless you do two things, and the second one is the hardest one. Look what they put. This is the law. Most people find this out when they go to renew their passport or they try to get a passport and they tell them this. And they're like, when we start all that? Where was their big announcement? Isn't somebody supposed to come out and go, hear ye, or some shit like that? But anyway, what they can do is you have to pay off the whole amount. Watch this. You're buying your freedom. You have to pay off the whole amount. Let's say it's $150,000. You got to pay off the whole amount plus whatever you already paying. Then that ain't it. You done paid the debt. You done paid all your loot. Then turn around and you have to get a letter from, let's say, the child support agency or whatever state you're dealing with. They got to send a letter to the State Department. And then the State Department, watch this, still got to review everything. And then they make a decision whether or not they're going to give you your passport back. So you don't pay all this loot. This is the law. This is how they slide stuff through. Now, most people ain't got it like that. If you sitting there and you working check to check and you paying your child support and this, that, and the third, that's a balancing act. See, that's a balancing act when you black. But white folks, I don't know. I'm not making it racial. I'm just talking about the financial divide in the United States when the mean value of a black person is only 1/3 of that of a white family. There is a financial disparity in this country that don't nobody want to talk about. Stop telling us to pull ourselves about bootstraps when all you gave us was flip-flops. I got to use that one on somebody. But the point I'm making is that this system is legal. Everything I just said to you is legal. They're not doing anything to you. They're not picking on you. That is a law that they slid through. And a lot of people who have gone through this process said the hell with it. But guess what? Now you can't leave your country. You're a prisoner in your own country. Now we live in a time when some people might have to leave and they can't leave now. Now you got to be a criminal. You understand what I'm saying? You see what they forced you into? That's because you let somebody else write a law about you that they knew was going to disproportionately affect you. Well, if you thought that was interesting, try this one on for size. So I went in, I'm trying to figure out, I did my research because maybe they had made some changes to Instagram that maybe you can stay on longer. So I went and I couldn't find anything, but I did find something very interesting. Y'all remember I did a story about the Earn It Act? Yes, the Earn It Act, the EARNIT, the Earn It, like you earn something. Remember I talked to y'all about the Earn It Act? The Earn It Act was a piece of legislation they was trying to put through the Congress on the low that had a good side and it had a bad side, and it was put on the books for a good purpose. But remember, it was well-intentioned. It was a well-intentioned dragon. It had good intentions, but we all know that the road to hell is paved with what? Turn to your neighbor and say good intentions. So they wrapped it up in, we have to stop child pornography on the internet. That was the reason. A noble reason. That should be stopped. It's tragic if it's happening. Shut it down. Unfortunately, like I always tell people, did you read the bill? Did you read the bill? I started reading the bill. I just happen to have a copy right here. Y'all know how we get down. I started reading the bill, y'all. And two things jumped out about the bill. The first thing that jumped out about this bill was that there was a piece in here that said it would abolish end-to-end encryption. You know how you talk on secure platforms like, what is it, Wire, and they got another one. Somewhere you can, it's just y'all. It's encrypted, it's your privacy. It's not us talking. This is a public platform. Trust me, I know what I'm saying on here. So I control what I say, but on a secure platform, nobody knows who's talking about what. We don't know nothing. You can't even tell who's on it. It's private. This would make that illegal. That means they can hear everything you say, everywhere, at any time. Can you say mark of the beast? Be everywhere, be all knowing, be all powerful. How you gonna be all knowing if you can't hear everything? That's scripture being fulfilled right there. Y'all talking about the mark of the beast coming. I'm showing you what they about to do to you. So this was going to abolish end-to-end encryption. No more scramble nothing. That also would abolish what we call blockchain technology. If you don't know what blockchain technology is, then go ahead and research it yourself. But if you've ever heard of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is just one iteration of blockchain technology. With blockchain technology, I can encrypt something and the only person that can open it up is the receiver. Nobody else. Now apply that to other things like medical records, court records, financial records. That means you don't have to pay anybody anymore to hold your information and make it secure. You got the key. And the only person that can open it is the person that you give the key to. And everybody who opens it, it leaves a record. So if I get a hold of your blockchain, I can look at everybody who ever opened it, closed it, looked at it, smelled it, kicked it around. I'm telling y'all what's going on behind the scenes that will affect everything you do today. If you don't care about nothing I'm talking about right now, it still affects you. You're going to go to try to do some shit and you're going to be like, well, I can't do that because they passed the law, you dumbass. All right. So that jumped out from this bill. But the other thing that jumped out from this bill, y'all stay with your boy now. Here it come. I got to give you the vinegar first. Here comes the sugar. The sugar. In this bill, there is a provision that would make companies like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and any other platform that exists or will exist, it will make them liable for things you say or do to another person. You know how y'all like to get on here and talk shit about people? Y'all know how y'all like to make fake websites and people think that it's me and y'all saying bullshit? You know how you like to make little ghost accounts and then come on here and talk shit and think can't nobody trace you down because see, there's no money behind it yet. They passed this law and y'all know that over shit, almost everybody on here gonna get sued by somebody for saying something. But you're suing Instagram. Now, that would put companies like Instagram out of business overnight. The legal action alone would blow them out the water. So all this censoring, all of this not sending people their alert shit, all of this making sure you can see the screen go black, all that bullshit. See, that's somebody that y'all don't know that's sitting up there that's doing that shit because they see everything we say. They're watching it on the screen. If they don't like what they're hearing, let's say you got some racist person sitting up there, I don't want to hear that bullshit. So you messing with the broadcast. Now that ain't gonna get no alerts. You understand what I'm saying? They passed this law and you can sue their ass completely out of existence. And y'all know I'll be the first one to do it. So it wasn't, when I thought about that, I said, well, that's interesting. So you see what they've done? They've taken something really, really messed up, taking away your encryption, but they tied it to something you want. Man, I got to get it. These motherfuckers here. You understand what I'm saying? Example, for the record, there are no other NFAC accounts on Instagram. If you see somebody with the official NFAC or NFAC this or NFAC that, they are lying. You are being played. Someone is imitating us. You understand what I'm saying? If someone is collecting money, if they all in a secret group and you in there giving them your money, you giving your money, you are a fool. We don't collect money. We haven't received a donation since I created this thing. We don't ask y'all for money. So if you think that you getting away, y'all better spread the word. This is the kind of stuff that Instagram don't want to get sued for. I know a lot of people ain't got nothing better to do but to sit around and be hateful and sit around and be cowards behind a phone and sit around and be keyboard gangsters or sit around and want to be couch philosophers. I know a lot of y'all love to do that because you can't help it. You're born that way. It's in your DNA. You understand? So it's here to stay. We already understand that. It's like having a stealing uncle. Y'all love him, but y'all know you can't lay shit around. You're like, oh, they go Barney. Oh, I love him, man. Get your wallet, baby. Because you know he your stealing uncle. But he's still family. So we know how jacked up Instagram is. But they still family because y'all still in their house. We up in their house talking right now, but we know what kind of house it is. Well, how about this? I was doing my research and I came across an article that's in the Business of Federal Technology, which is a Senate judiciary publication that gets around to the Senate. Why would I get it? Because as a former presidential candidate, I get all of those publications to this day. And I was reading this particular publication and I found out that the Earn It Act unanimously passed the Senate Judiciary Committee on July the 2nd. So it looks like it's on its way for that vote. Yeah. Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham, y'all know Lindsey without his hood on. He said that social media sites have become fertile hunting grounds for child predators, and he cited letters that he had received from sexual abuse victims supporting the bill. That's great, Lindsey, except what about the part about taking away our encryption? And what about the part about us getting to sue the shit out of all of these social media? You ain't saying nothing about that. See how they keep the focus on one thing? It says the idea of other sick men looking at my father abusing me makes me sick. That's what somebody said. They said to him. So basically what he did was they put a bill together, because if you go online and say the wrong thing about somebody now, I'm going to come after you anyway, because you know I'm the pull-up master. But I can turn around and sue the people that made it possible now. You see what I'm saying? It's just like in North Carolina. Only in North Carolina. Y'all tell me if they got it in other states, but I know they got it in North Carolina. They got a law that if your spouse cheats on you with somebody else, you can sue the person that they cheated with for the damages to your marriage. You cost me my marriage. I had everything just right. Here you come along and yeah, the other person is already penalized, but you can sue them. And there are cases where people have had to pay up. Was it worth it? I don't know. So now this bill is about to move through. And if this bill becomes law, they already know their ass is in hot water. So that's why yesterday, I think I was allowed to talk to the world for 2 hours and 43 minutes non-stop, not one interruption. Everybody who was on, it was clean, it was clear. Everybody was sitting there like, this is amazing. I'm sitting there too like, this shit ain't cut off yet. I didn't get the 60-minute countdown. I'm thinking it got something to do with me. No. They know what's about to happen. You see, you got to remember companies and corporations like this. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Y'all know that. This is still Facebook. It's just a different version. And Zuckerberg ass knows what's about to pop off. He's up in DC. He's seeing the shit move through. They done threw all the money at it they can. They said, we ain't trying to hear that shit. We trying to deal with this child pornography that's going on. You know we dealing with child pornography, right? You know that's all this is about, right? You do want to help us with this child pornography thing. But he read the bill and he's like, yeah, but you about to get us fucked up, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? Once I became aware that happened, I said, oh, 6 now. But notice they haven't said nothing to nobody about that. So for everybody who's wondering how we managed to pull off that magic trick that we pulled off yesterday, I say it to you again, pay attention to what's going on around you, because everything is not always what it seems. I was looking at the news this morning and I noticed in a lot of the headlines that they was talking about a lot of stuff. They had all kind of headlines. They was talking about, things that was going on in different places, talking about the pandemic that's still going on. They were talking about all that. What they wasn't talking about was the history-making black guns formations that happened in the United States last week, and still had yet to address it. And of course, we've already talked about why they won't address it, but I'm going to keep talking about it because it was history. It was Black history. So when Black History Month comes, somebody needs to go up to Stone Mountain and reenact that for us. I wanted to start off by dealing with a couple things. Got some housekeeping here, things to do. I told y'all once before, there are no other NFAC pages on Instagram. If you are subscribed to one of those groups, then you are doing something that I have to question your judgment. People will say, well, why don't you have the blue check? They wouldn't give me a blue check if I turned myself into a goddamn box of Crayola crayons. We've already done that many times. We said to hell with it. Now, all of a sudden, it's going to become an issue because the blue check was created just for shit like this, so that you would know who's speaking for real and who's not. And in a situation where you're talking about a group of black people with guns, I think that you want to make sure that you're listening to the right people. Because if somebody tells you to run off and go do some shit and you think I told you, and then well, Jay told us on Instagram, they're going to come back over here and look at how these accounts are put together and say, he didn't tell y'all to do that shit. You just committed first-degree murder on your own. You're going to prison for the rest of your life. So keep running around with some shit. This is kryptonite. You don't want to play with this. This is not some fad. This is not a social club. This is nothing like that. What I'm doing over here, I told y'all, this is steak and potatoes? Yeah, steak and potatoes. This ain't milk and cereal. This, you play with this right here, somebody gonna get burned. And it might be you. See, a lot of y'all don't understand how this thing is working out right now. There is a spirit of karma that's orbiting the earth and everything is coming out. Everything done in the dark is coming to the light. People flip. Look at people breaking up, been married for I don't know how many years and we thought they had the perfect. Well, listen to me. It is a season of karma. And it goes both ways. It's karma for you. It's karma for me. It's karma for your coworker. It's karma for the pastor. It's karma for the bum on the streets. It's karma for the government. Okay? It's karma for the world right now. We hanging out with y'all in Revelation 13. That's the chapter we living in right now. A lot of y'all don't even know that. Why? Because you put that off a long time ago. You too busy to read that stuff. Were you also too busy to remember that we are still under a national declaration of emergency for the novel coronavirus disease outbreak? Have y'all forgot that 45 signed that on March the 12th of 2020, that they had put this emergency into place? We haven't been brought out from under that yet. We are still under a state of emergency. Everything that's happening right now is happening under a state of emergency. The police brutality, state of emergency. Okay. The COVID-19, state of emergency. High unemployment, state of emergency. No more stimulus, state of emergency. Racial tensions about to explode worldwide, state of emergency. Earthquakes, famine, locusts, state of emergency. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But you did notice that the mass shooting stopped. Haven't had one of those in a while. The lynchings stopped after Stone Mountain. Okay, so we know some things can be stopped, but everything else, don't forget, we're under a state of emergency. And I taught y'all this 4 months ago. Once they declare the state of emergency, they can start opening up all these other acts. So whatever act they pass under the state of emergency is handled a little differently, because they're saying it's in support of the state of emergency. So they're saying that in the state of emergency, child porn is so bad that we got to do something. But while we at it, let's lock down the internet and let's let these motherfuckers sue. It's almost as if the government is trying to destroy a platform, the last platform of freedom of speech. Now, maybe Instagram, Facebook, and all of them thought that they were boys and they could be in on it, so they messing with us. Yeah, we about to shut y'all down. It's about to be some 1984 shit going on. No. See, y'all don't understand a totalitarian government. A totalitarian government, all you got to do is look at Who are the enemies, or who have always been the enemies of the United States? Totalitarian governments, where they can't get in, persuade them, weasel their way in, try to get their resources, all of that. No. They don't talk to people like that. And they always at odds with people like that. Okay. Like Iran. That's why they at odds with Iran. Iran got a leader. This is how we do it. Everybody on the same page over here. We ain't trying to hear that bullshit you talking. You don't fuck with us. We don't fuck with you. You fuck with us. We gonna fuck with you. We stay away from folks like that. Okay? Little Korea got nukes talking shit all day. Yeah, popping them in the ocean. Yeah, we over here. What's happening? Boo, boo, boo. Don't give a fuck. United States don't want to deal with that. Don't talk about it. Don't talk to them. They rather go pick on somebody who ain't got shit. Matter of fact, this is the craziest part. They rather go pick on somebody that they put in power. Like, you get what I'm saying? That's like people who go to work and they're afraid to speak up at their job, but they go home and beat their kids. Okay, you went into these countries, you put in a puppet dictator, you put in somebody you could control, you armed them, you gave them chemical weapons, you did all this, gave them all this money, boo, and built them up, told them they shit didn't stink, let them do, as long as they was your boy. Other people over here talking shit, poo, 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 y'all ain't trying, they talking like we right here, cousin. Where y'all at? They was talking huge. They talk so huge that the big boy on the block, China, was like, go ahead, see what they gonna say. We right here. I like this shit. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't gonna mess with that. They gonna go home and beat their kids. Black people in America, you the kids that's getting beat. Because they can't do that to everybody else. You always gonna be the kid that's gonna get beat on when they come home. Because they really don't want that smoke with nobody. Okay? They want everybody, whether it be through money or through some form of protection, that they cool with you. Okay? That shit don't work out. They come back here and beat the kids. That'd be us. But I want to ask y'all a question, because sometimes don't it feel good when you can think of how things could be? Don't it feel good when y'all start thinking about how we want to end racism? You know what I'm saying? And how we want everybody to work together. And we all, we get to this, what I call this Star Trek universe. See, Star Trek was a universe where everybody, no matter what race you was, everybody was a part of what was going on to explore the universe, all that bullshit. But most people don't realize that in Star Trek, there's a very key element that they talked about. It went in one ear and out the other because most of y'all wasn't paying attention. You see, they do stuff right in front of you, almost as if to tease you, to show you this is what it could be like. But no. Black Panther was like that, the movie. They showed you what it could be like, but no. When people show you what it could be like, that means they know better. They don't have to go relearn and get desensitized. They already know. They already know. You don't know. Now, we're still living under a state of emergency, and they about to slide this act through on you. Okay, the good and the bad would then come out. Facts? Facts. But one of the things that has started to come out for us lately is I'm beginning to hear some talk from my own peoples with regards to what y'all wants to do. As far as where we go, is dividing down two lines. Those who want to stay here opposed to those who want to leave. Those who want to stay here, watch where I'm going with this, that's really not the issue. What I find amazing and what we need to examine this morning is, first of all, is you all have a love affair. A love affair. We call it constitutional fidelity. There is a book by the Fordham Law Review where they talked about Black Americans have been as faithful to the Constitution that has looked at very differently by the version espoused by their contemporary courts. It is a constitution that abolished slavery prior to the Civil War, that provided free slaves with 40 acres and a mule during Reconstruction, that invalidated separate but equal facilities prior to Brown versus the Board of Education, and that continues to mandate a radical dismantling of the discriminatory structures despite the Supreme Court's adherence to the doctrine of colorblindness. Surely black people are the main practitioners of what we call ideal constitutionalism, which solves the problem of fidelity. In other words, you're so in love with the Constitution and all of its parts, even though it was not written for any of us, you keep believing that the goal of equal citizenship is what we're truly after. So that's why we're so in love with this Constitution. Black people's first commitment is to the establishing of their inclusion of the Constitution. You politely, and you do it in a fidelity way, it's as you're achieving an objective. We're making progress. You're making progress by trying your best to be included in a document that was not written for you. I'm just being honest. I'm not going against anything. See, there are pieces that we can pick and choose, like the right to bear arms and freedom of speech and prohibition of search and seizure, those type basic things. But when you dig into the loftier parts of the Constitution, you begin to realize right off the bat, who did they write this for? Because all this shit, I can't, it's not practical for us. Because if it was, we wouldn't be in the condition that we're in. If these things were true, you wouldn't have had to have a 13th Amendment. If these things were true, you wouldn't have had to have a 14th Amendment. If all the things before it were true, you had to write some shit in for us. So that should tell y'all right off the bat that you're in love with a document. You're in love with that document so much that you think that if we had a mass exodus from this country to our own country somewhere else, that you would be all right under that Constitution. Okay, that's cool. I would much more rather you become more in love with the Constitution that you helped write. I would be more enamored with a Constitution that reflected our top priorities, our top concerns, our top freedoms, our top prohibitions as a people. I would be more thrilled. I would say, don't it feel good to be unified? Don't it? For just the thought of us all being unified, in spite of our differences, still being unified. We just when you see another brother, it's all right. When you see another sister, it's good. Because we all on that, we walking in unity. We're walking in unity. And I don't mean walking in unity just physically. I mean, we're walking in unity. So when you see another brother, another sister, even if you think we're just doing this for a week, okay, every brother and sister I see, I'm going to be good to. Every brother and sister I see, I'm going to try to think of something positive to say before I open my mouth and say something negative. Every brother and sister I see, I'm not going to be afraid to ask their opinion when I'm afraid or I'm unsure of something. Every brother and sister I see, I'm going to ask them, hey, look, bro, you need a little help with that? I see you struggling to read over here. Let me read that for you. Let me, look, I'm not going to, everybody on this page of unity. You in the store, you see the single mother struggling with all them damn kids and you and your homegirls over there. And y'all know y'all supposed to be women too. Don't stand there and criticize. Go on over there and help her with them kids. Everybody on the spirit of unity. If we go one way, go with us. Y'all out there, y'all see something going down. All of a sudden things ain't going right. One bruh jump in and try to make it right. You know what I'm saying? Here comes somebody trying to break him up and stop him from doing right, but let the wrong keep going. Don't it feel good? Unified. If the police pull up and they go into Brother Johnson's house, everybody come outside. What's going on? What's everybody? People out in bathrobes. What is all of this? Don't peek out your window and see the lights going. Ooh, girl, let me get me my phone. No, we're going out here to see what's happening. Everybody in unity. Y'all see two people arguing. Let's say you in the store and you see one of our people arguing with somebody else. You ain't got to go there and get in the fight. If all of y'all come together and somebody, hey, bro, come on, let's walk, dog. It ain't even worth it, bro. Nah, be bigger than that, man. Nah. They just want to shatter our unity. The greatest problem confronting America today is black people. Let that sink in. You all think that we're moving ahead when we give up something. Yeah. Y'all think we're moving ahead when we give up something. That's not moving ahead. There's a concept that I've been kicking around. And before I can kick it around, I've been doing my studying as I should. So I must bid a continental greeting and a warm hello to all of the good people of Nigeria, Ethiopia, Egypt, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Tanzania, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Algeria. Also Sudan, Morocco, Angola, Mozambique, Ghana, Madagascar, Cameroon. Everybody down in Cote d'Ivoire, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Malawi, Zambia, Senegal, Chad, Somalia, and Zimbabwe. I wanted to call all those countries out because those are the countries that did check in with me yesterday after I spoke with them. Also, the good folks out in Guinea and Rwanda and Benin and Burundi, Tunisia, South Sudan, Togo, Sierra Leone, Libya, the Congo, Liberia, which I keep people telling me that that's ours already, the Central African Republic, and Mauritania. All the good people that checked in from Eritrea, Namibia, Gambia, Botswana, Gabon, Lesotho, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea also. See, all these places I'm naming are in the motherland. These are all countries. These are not states. We also have Mauritius, Eswatini, Djibouti, Comoros, Cabo Verde, is that how it's pronounced? I'm not sure. Sao Tome, Principe, and Seychelles. These are all countries in Africa. I wanted to start off by bidding you all a hello and thank you for the warm greeting I got yesterday. And I look forward to the state visit, the meeting with the chiefs to talk about the future of what I have been calling something that has been around for a while. Let me talk about it just for a few minutes. The United States of Africa. People are saying, well, he go with that again. You can actually look up the concept of the United States of Africa. I'm not the first one, apparently, that was given this vision. I thought I got it out of the blue, but this is proof that the ancestors talked through you, because when I went and did my research, I was surprised to find out that the United States of Africa is a concept of federation of some or all of the 55 sovereign states on the continent of Africa, which is exactly what I said. The concept takes its origins from Marcus Garvey in 1924 in a poem called Hail, the United States of America. Now, I did not know that Marcus Garvey came up with this idea. I thought I came up with this idea, but if the ancestors have to speak through us, then I guess here we go again. The idea of a multinational unifying African state has been compared to two various medieval African empires. So y'all got to remember that includes the Ethiopian Empire, the Ghana Empire, the Mali Empire, and the Songhai Empire, the Benin Empire, the Kanem Empire, and all the historic nation states. During the late 19th and the early 20th century, the majority of African land was controlled by various European empires, with the British controlling around 30% of the African population. So Marcus Garvey, I have to give credit now because I did not know this. This is something that I actually thought I came up all on my own. One night in a dream, it was told to me, this is what we need to do. So if you go and you get the poem Hail, United States, which was written in 1924 by Marcus Garvey, there he talks about the United States of Africa. And I thank you, Mr. Garvey, for planting that seed, because of all the countries in Africa, I look at them now as member states. Okay. And the reason that I say that is because some folks don't understand the extent of what has been done to us by the Portuguese slave trade. And when you start talking about uniting these into states, into one homogenous country, then guess what happens? Then everyone who is a descendant of those tribes or those nations that were victimized by the slave trade, you now become a member of one country, which means it can apply its resources to dealing with each one of these pockets. I'll give you an example. If you look at when we talk about the slave trade, most people think of the United States, but you never think about the slave trade in places like, let's say, Colombia. Okay, in Colombia from 1779 to 1852, that's when their slave trade went down. Notice I said 1852. They so-called emancipated black people in America when 1863. So think about it, around the 18-somethings, everybody was trying to dump their slave trade. Between the 16th and the first half of the 19th century, approximately 400,000 African slaves were brought to Nueva Granada through the ports of Havana, Veracruz, Buenos Aires, and Cartagena. Cartagena received more than 60% of the traffic destined for Verdito Predano. The late 18th century In the late 18th century, they saw the rise of movements to abolish the institution of slavery. There was slavery going on in South America, y'all. And they had to go through their own abolitionist phase to get rid of it. The same way the struggle that we got right now is not just here in the United States. Y'all don't understand why I'm talking to all these other foreign countries. I'm not doing this so I can sit up there and look good. I'm doing it because I'm trying to build a global coalition so we can address this once and for all. We keep having the same problems over and over again. I'm tired of that. I want to feel good about being unified. Thank you. So when you stop and think about there's slavery going on down there, we had slavery going on up here. All those people came from Africa. Some of y'all came from the indigenous land that was already here, but a lot of y'all didn't survive because you fought back so hard. That's the part they don't never teach you in the history class. They invaded these continents. There was already civilizations here. They went to war on them. They invaded them. They conquered them. Then they had need somebody to do the goddamn work. Notice they didn't come to America. Stop thinking like that. That's what they taught you in school because they want you to think how powerful the United States was. No, they wasn't. The shortest route was from Africa, west coast of Africa, to South America. And then you brought them on up. Oh, we'll get to that. That's a class for another time. I'm not frustrated. I'm just feeling the fact that this is how much you've been brainwashed. It was in 1851 when the president signed what they call a Ley de Masumición o de Liberación de Esclavos en la Nueva Granada that abolished slavery. Y'all know ours as the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay? So this has been going on all over the place. But then you got to stop and think we got black people in Canada. And Canada is funny with it, y'all. Black Canadian is a designation used for people of full or partial sub-Saharan African descent who are citizens or permanent residents of Canada. You can't be called a black person unless you have full or partial sub-Saharan. The Saharan desert, see, that wasn't always a desert. I got to teach you a little bit. Most people, because they think they're enlightened, they think they're awake a little bit. They know that Egypt, the original name was Kemet. And that's all they taught. Yeah, man, Kemet. And we're going like, okay, but what part of Kemet was it? You see, I'm disturbed by a lot of these so-called learned teachers who are quick to point out, well, he can't be this because he's wearing that. Well, how can he believe in this and he's doing that? And y'all haven't even put the whole picture together yet. To be so smart, you're downright stupid when it comes to world history, for real. Now, last time I checked, your book is not going to bring into existence what's already predicted in the book. You're going to have to do more than stand on the corner and talk out your book. Because if you understood the bigger picture, you would understand the order of progression. And when I say I am that I am, I'm none of you and I'm all of you. Some of y'all don't get that because you've been compartmentalizing your thinking. It's like trying to pin the tail on the donkey when it ain't a tail at all. In this particular instance, they're talking about those people of Greater Kemet, which was the southwestern portion, which is now under desert that they can't even go in and explore because the sand is too deep. That's a story for another time. But unless you can prove that you came from the inner workings of the Ethiopian empire from the sub-Saharan African descent, you can't be called black in Canada. So who are these people? Because there's 945,000 black Canadians. Okay, that's 2.9% of the population. You trying to tell me that all of them came from the sub-Saharan desert? That's a lie. How our people get up there? So remember, when I talk to y'all about us as a group, and what we got to do as a group, put aside your divisions, because won't it feel good to be unified in spite of who you are? Okay? I mean, come on, y'all. Don't get lost in the role, as we say. Don't do that. Don't think that because you joined a certain group or you joined NFAC or you joined, any organization that all of a sudden you have arrived. All you've done is found your seat on the plane. Some of us sit in first class. Some of us sit in business section. Some of us sit in coach. Some of us, we riding in the baggage compartment because we're a dog in a cage. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is there's different groups, but I don't see groups. I see all of the children of the Most High. They just divided up like when you open up an M&M bag. It's different colors. They still in the bag, right? Mm-hmm. So there is no in between. You're either free or you're a slave. There ain't no such thing as a second-class citizen. Citizen means you are free. Oh, you're a second-class citizen. What makes me second-class? Huh? That means I'm either free or I'm a slave of some type. Okay? Now, the same way y'all who play this Democratic Republican thing, it's the same team. It's like when you go to sit down and play Xbox. It offers you a world and it lets you be somebody. And you play through the game. You can change the players, but you cannot change the game. And we've reached the point where we need to change the game. Well, why can't we change the game, Jay? We can't change the game because too many of my people are scared. Point blank. I don't care how you try to wrap it up. I don't care how you try to rationale. I don't care how you try to explain it. I don't care how you try to justify it. At the end of the day, you're just point blank scared. Scared of everything. Scared of guns, scared of violence, scared of people raising their voice, scared of somebody telling you the truth, scared to change, just scared. Oh, we can't do that. He gonna get us killed. You gonna die anyway. The hell is you talking about? Okay, let me tell you something I don't understand. I don't understand people who talk about they want the rah-rah, talk about they ain't having it no more, talk about it's time for a change. Say all of these big words and then do nothing. I don't get that. If you're not going to do nothing, then shut the fuck up. So when real people start talking, the people know, okay, we talking now. Damn. Shit is frustrating, y'all. It's frustrating. You know why? Because we do more talking than walking these days. We really do. We do a lot of talking and we're not doing as much walking. It'd be a different story if we was out here walking. If we was out here walking, then I could understand, okay, I understand their position. I feel them. But I'm going to be honest, all this little girl shit I'm seeing going on, grown ass men acting like little girls. Can't even get behind a positive message in spite of, they rather sit around and do the he said, she said, and I'm this and I'm that, like a bunch of little girls on the playground. Ain't nobody got time for that. The nation ain't got time for that. But then again, you're scared, and I understand that. Warriors are not built of scared people. So stop calling yourself a warrior unless you're ready to go to war. Call yourself something else. Now, I want to move on because I want to talk about we need to understand. Stop screaming black power unless you're ready to back it up with black powder. That's gunpowder. There's no black power without black powder. Real talk. Y'all spread that around to your friends because somebody didn't get that message. There is no revolution until you hit back. That's the beginning of a revolution. Revolution ain't us making a formation. Revolution ain't everybody walking around with guns right now. Revolution is not you saying, I'm trying to make a point by showing up with my buddies and we protest. That's not a revolution. Those are the birth pains of a revolution. A revolution begins when you hit back. Now the game has begun. Chess moves, remember? You're moving into your final assault on her queen and her king at the end of the game. Chess moves. At the end of the day, you have to understand that we are not strong enough to fight them and us at the same time. That's why it's so important for us to be unified. Y'all too busy fighting you know what? And I taught on this, I don't know how many times. It's easier to attack someone who looks like you or who you think is as vulnerable as you than it is for you to attack the real enemy. Because you're thinking, oh, they're going to get us killed. You don't think that screwing around with some of us going to get you killed? See, that's that sick mentality. Won't it feel good when we all unified? It sure will. I know I am. We are living in a dream world. We keep getting slapped in the face and we won't wake up. Star Trek was a slap in the face. Black Panther movie was a slap in the face. They're telling you, we know how you think you should look, but you ain't gonna get it on our watch. You know, we're dealing with a condition where it's not enough. Let me break this down to you. I had a very, 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 very old Chinese man tell me one time. He says, the reason that you all can't come together, the reason you can't pool your resources is because you all see money differently than everybody else. I said, do tell, old man. He says, we, as well as white people, this is what he said, these are words, not mine. We see money as power. Mm-hmm. The more money we have, the more things we can take over, the more countries we can purchase, the more people's pockets we can get, the more we can put people in debt. Debt equals slavery. That's why we're always buy a business and then buy another business, all these mergers. It's about power. He said, but your people see money as pleasure. The more money you have, the more pleasurable things you want. New house, new car, jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Y'all flossing it out. Got to have the latest. He said, the more money you get, the more pleasure you have. He says, and power always outlasts pleasure. As long as you're in power, you can always have a little pleasure. But if all you have is pleasure, when your money is gone, your pleasure is gone, what do you have? Nothing. And I said, well, damn. Okay. So what, I still don't get it. I mean, I understand that. So what do we do? He says, well, the first thing you have to do is you have to tell your people to spend money amongst themselves. Don't spend it with nobody else. Don't even go outside until y'all in a position where y'all can afford to do that. So I go, well, I mean, that sounds kind of crazy. You mean to tell me I can't go buy nothing from nobody else if I want to? I'm on my morning mental. He said, y'all don't get it. He said, we don't care how good your product is. We don't care what benefits it might bring to our society. We won't do business with you because we collectively as a people have decided that we are not going to do business with you. You can give us your money, but we're not going to take your products. We're not going to let you put your products into our market. That's why you see Japanese and Chinese cars almost everywhere on American roads. But you go over to China, you don't see that shit at all. Okay? Now, getting right back to that, they're unified. They're unified. But not us. And so we got to understand, we got to change how we think. That's why it's so hard for us to come together right now and say we got $2, $3, $4 trillion of our own money that we can put together to do this. How many times have we talked about a world consensus where we take a world survey of none but black folks and find out what our top 5 priorities are? And then take that 1 trillion or something, watch this, plus the money over in Africa. We talking to y'all sitting on some cake too. Y'all got diamond mines, platinum mines, silver mines. Y'all got all that shit. Y'all work along with us. We working along with y'all. We throwing out a little bit in. Y'all throw y'all a little bit in, but we address the top 5 issues. Okay? We wouldn't have to beg nobody for reparations if we did something like this. We could give every person on this planet a piece of bread and be like, look, this comes out of our riches. If y'all woke up tomorrow morning and found out that every melanated person on the planet got $5 million, yeah, we might still have a problem with racism. We might still feel a little bad about the fact that they still corrupting our culture and, and crime is at an all-time high, not just against us, but for us and around us. We might feel them kind of ways, but the yoke of always starting behind the power curve will be off of our necks. And then we could get together and say, now, what do we want to do as a people? We got all of this money now. We got everybody taken care of now. We moving as one. What's the first thing we going to do? We're going to run the Arabs out of Egypt and we're going to take Egypt back and we're going to restore everything that's there. And then we're going to rebuild a universal university so that every one of us from around the world can come and learn true world history, learn the lost sciences, learn the lost mysteries of the art, learn all of that stuff. Then we're going to build another one on the North American continent where every person can come. And you see what I'm saying? We will begin to build great learning centers for ourselves and take back that which is ours. We ain't talking about just always going to war. We talking about y'all want to talk about who got bigger dollars. We got the bigger dollars now. Okay, y'all got to do business with us and stop warring with us. Now, let me spin around and talk a little bit about the white folks that want to help. See, a lot of y'all think that he just doesn't like white folks. I didn't never said I didn't like white folks, but just like Muhammad Ali said, if it's 7,000 snakes coming down the hill to kill me, and you stand there and tell me, well, it's not all of them. It's a few good ones in there. You really think I'm going to wait until the 7,000 snakes get there so I can figure out which ones are good and which ones are bad? I'm not going to do that. I got to open fire on all of them because I can't tell y'all apart because y'all don't check each other. Morning mental. Y'all don't check each other. Y'all always want to talk about we want to help. God damn it, we're help then. Stop telling me what I was in an interview. I'm not even going to call the name of the publication. They asked me the most asinine question. And the question was like, how do you feel about blah, 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 blah? And then they tried to tie it to black on black crime. And I said, now, hold on a minute. We don't even get down like that. First of all, you're not going to unpack this because if you're going to talk about black on black, let's talk about white on white and every other color because that ain't got jack shit to do with what we're talking about over here. I can't tell who's bad and who's not. But for the ones that are tuned in that are like, man, I don't give a damn about none of that, bro. I'm just trying to move. I'm trying to move this whole thing down the road, and I want to, I want to help y'all and so forth. How many times have you heard me say this? That Malcolm X said that white folks can help us, but they can't join us. There's another piece behind that, but I want to stop right there. We don't take donations. We don't allow you to be a part of us visually because somebody's got to be just for black folks. I'm sorry. We don't hate you. We love us. But if you want to help, you can become a mouthpiece to your people about some of the same things that we've been talking about for over 60 years. You can actually put some of your money behind it. And don't talk about, and we're not talking about no loan. We're talking about go ahead and spend some of your money to get some stuff done. If there's a group of people that you know in your city want to stand up a black militia, put some money behind them since you care so much. Okay? But this whole kumbaya, we all on the same, we all here together bullshit, that's not the way it is and you know it. If we was all here together, then we would all live in the same place. But no, inner city flight taught us a long time ago that once we become the dominant population, y'all run. Y'all don't want to be around us. Once we become the dominant population and y'all got to come to us for jobs, y'all don't like that shit, y'all move away. Call them the suburbs. You understand what I'm saying? So the inner city flight, when brothers and sisters start doing their thing, they run away and they take their jobs with them. So now the place goes down and now all of a sudden it has poverty. And now all of a sudden, you get what I'm saying? Now crime is on it. And y'all sit back talking about, look at them niggas down there. No, y'all ran away. And then you get brothers and sisters who think that moving away from their people is moving up. Child, I'm up here. I'm the only black person in my neighborhood. No, that ain't your neighborhood. You start thinking about things like colonization. You start thinking about things like gentrification. And you start thinking about things like when we going to have it our way. And they can stop slapping us in our face. Well, until you address the root of the problem. You got to get to the root of the problem. Just like my man said, the minute we try to get to the root of the problem, which is racism, y'all call us a hate group. We're addressing hatred, but y'all call us a hate group. We are protecting our people, but y'all call us a terrorist group trying to attack people. Y'all say these things because that's what you would do. That's what you did when you was in that position. So to all you white people talking about you want to help and you want to be down, first acknowledge your own past. Take some responsibility for it. Own that shit and stop living in denial. You got a whole generation. You think our generation is fucked up. Y'all got a whole generation of people, white kids running around believing that bullshit from this twisted education that they got for some people who had bleeding hearts that felt like we shouldn't have lost the war. Now they manifesting themselves around us and y'all asking us how we think we should fix it. It's not our problem to fix. This shit coming out of your house. That we wouldn't be where we was if it didn't come out of your house. It ain't like black folks lost their mind and just start fighting cops out the blue. It ain't like all of a sudden that we just started resisting arrest. Resisting arrest been around for shit since I've been alive. But it didn't get you shot in the back. Well, that's something for us to think about, eh? We rolling here, facts. Morning mental. I don't need that. And I got a couple more things I want to cover because I have two major announcements that I need to address. Oh, by the way, in case y'all didn't know, if you're in Brunswick, Georgia, today is the hearing for the McMichaels. You remember the McMichaels? Yeah, Mr. Hop on the truck, yeehaw, chase you down in the street and shoot you with a shotgun, then call you a nigga. Y'all remember? Y'all remember that? Ahmaud Arbery. Y'all remember? I'm going to run through your neighborhood and see what you're going to do about me. Y'all remember? Their hearing is today. So if y'all ain't got nothing better to do, slide on down to the local courthouse and put your ear on it. Let me know what's going on down there, because we told them if they walk, we coming back. And we're coming back bigger than we was last time. So come on, Brunswick, we're pulling for you. Do the right thing. They actually have their hearing today. And while we own the case of who's doing what and why they doing it, I have to give y'all an update in case you haven't been keeping up with the Breonna Taylor situation. I am going to be I'm going to do something that a lot of people don't do in the movement. They're not transparent. I'm going to be a little bit transparent here. I'm going to let y'all know that I did receive a phone call this weekend from some of the lead activists in Louisville on behalf of the Louisville Police Department. They're in talks with them. I am not. They pretty much were saying, could you please not come here yet? We're working on some things. We need a little bit more time. I told them they're out of time. This has been over a month now since this incident happened. But I did say that if there's something going on that y'all are unpacking that's going to change how we feel, you need to let me know what that is now. Okay. In all fairness, they asked for some more time. They wanted to wait until the end of the month. I said, no, you got until Wednesday. And they said, well, we'll give you an answer back. So, but in the meantime, if you haven't been paying attention, there was a development. The development, which I thought was rather interesting, is the fact that there's a group that's in Louisville, the Metro Council. And if you don't know what the Metro Council is, the Metro Council was actually patterned after the riots that they had down in Cincinnati. In case y'all don't know what happened in Cincinnati, when they had the riots there, they established what they call a Metro Council, and the purpose of the Metro Council was to be an overseer. They replaced the board of the aldermen, the fiscal court. They're the intercessor. So the Louisville Metro Council, that's the city council of Louisville. That's their city council. And it was established like back in 2003 or something. But that's their city council. The city council, after getting some evidence, turned around and asked the mayor, Mayor Greg Fisher, to hand over some documents surrounding the Breonna Taylor case. That's what they asked. They said, we need to see these because there's some accusations that's coming out now. That this is bigger than them accidentally kicking the door down and killing this girl now. Now, they got my attention when I heard this. I said, well, whoa. What is this new information? Well, whatever the information was, the mayor had already made up his mind that he wasn't going to give him. He said, and I quote, he says, while I take your request in good faith, I must misunderstand your request for the release of all documents that relate to the Breonna Taylor case, given the fact that your request would include the investigative materials currently being reviewed by the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the Attorney General for potential criminal prosecution. Now, here's the problem with that. That sounds good on the top, so you're trying to put it on the feds. You're saying that the feds are the reason you can't release this because it's an ongoing investigation, right? Okay. The city council turned around because Breonna Taylor's lawyers came out and they said that there were some other issues at work. Something called Vision Russell. Y'all don't know what Vision Russell is. This is what I mean about them gentrifying your neighborhood. So I go find out before I don't just come in guns blazing. Y'all stop that. Stop calling us like we the fucking police. Get your facts straight first. We're a militia. We're not the police. Especially when you got 3, 4, 5 million other people in your state. Stop being scared. Get together and go do something about it. Anyway, the council found out that they have this plan down there in Louisville called the Vision Russell Plan, which was a redevelopment, regentrification plan for the same neighborhood that Breonna lived in. And in that report, they said everything was going fine, that they were gentrifying according to schedule, but it was 1 or 2 families that would not sell their homes or they wouldn't leave. Well, here come the coincidence. Anyway, while they was talking about this, they actually talked about that maybe they were doing something that's been illegal for a long time. If you don't know what redlining is drawing the boundaries of a district based on race. Like go around this black house, come on down 3 white houses. So that from a voting standpoint, it looks like the whole district is voting when in actuality, your voting power don't have no power because you belong to this other county or this next jurisdiction simply because they redlined all around you. If that's true, that would destroy the credibility of the mayor and everybody that serves under him. So you can see now there's more to this. That's why they don't want this shit to come out, because now it's starting to look like this whole piece of going in here killing this girl was because they trying to move an agenda forward. Okay. So the council went to the mayor like, what the fuck is they talking about? Come to find out that the reason they ran up in that girl's house because they said that the Louisville Metro Police had aggressively pursued a drug case against Jamarcus Glover, Taylor's ex-boyfriend, the one that wasn't even there, and others because they were allegedly operating a home on Elliott Avenue, which is in the heart of the Russell place where they want to do the development. So remember the Vision Russell, that's a collaborative effort. And I checked what it said. And here's what it said their mission was. It says that it is to transform Russell into a neighborhood of opportunity and choice through redevelopment and investment. That's gentrification. Wasn't nothing wrong with the neighborhood to start with, except it was black. Certain individuals didn't want to move out. Now here comes the problem. They said, and this comes from the report, it says there are certain lingering homes and people remain an obstacle to the redevelopment plans. So they dedicated a squad within the LMPD's criminal interdiction unit called Place-Based, where the investigation was tasked with focusing on certain areas, listen to this, that needed to be cleared for real estate development. I'm done. So now all of a sudden, the Metro Council wants the names of the members of that squad. And now the mayor says, I can't get that to you. Because if he gives it to them and it turns out that y'all created some elite squad, some hit squad that was supposed to go in and clear out the members who don't want to move, who don't want to let the white people have their neighborhood so they can gentrify it and continue to erase black communities all over the country like they doing. And y'all sitting there thinking it's cute. They won't let you invest in your own community, but they want you to give it up so that they can come in. They don't want you to be a part of what's going on. And if you've been there for a long time, you ain't never committed a crime. You got a good job. You have no reason to leave. They're coming in. This hit squad will clear you out. If that comes out, not only is it criminal, but that is grounds for the abolishment of the mayor's office and the entire governmental structure and the reinstitution of a citizen instituted government. It would also mean that y'all utilize the police force as a kill squad. That right there, my friends, black people, that's an act of war. Now I see why they don't want this to come out. So they brought that to my attention. I'll wait for that. I want to know the answer to this one. So to the FBI, the DOJ, and everybody else that's looking into this, don't come back to us with that. You know, it's not a violation of her civil rights. That's not what we asking. Y'all, somebody gonna tell us what y'all gonna do about going up in that girl's house and killing her. And she had nothing to do with nothing. Somebody's going to respond to the black community, not just through you telling us we don't want you to cut no check. That's different. Yeah, they're going to do that anyway. We got some ambulance chasers that's going to do that. They there already. That ain't what we talking about. Some real justice. What y'all going to do? What is the sacrifice? You fucked up. Now own up. And if it's bigger than that, y'all better send somebody ass to the motherfucking jail sooner or later. Some handcuffs need to be on somebody. I'm sorry. But y'all know the truth always comes out whenever they do something crooked like this. Now we come to find out it's tied to something else. Okay. Let me talk about one more thing before I get off my soapbox here also. I'm going to say it in case you just joined me. There are no other NFAC pages on Instagram. If you're in one of those pages, I saw one the other day. It was the official NFAC organization. That is bullshit. Stay off those pages. They're going to get you shot because you're going to think that you're running with us and you're not running with us at all. You're probably running with the feds. You don't even know it. And y'all sitting there talking about NFA shit because you think you should know. I don't have no other page than this one right here. Okay? The only NFAC that exists. There is no other. I don't care. Y'all running around making all these pages. I ain't authorized nobody to collect no money. I ain't told nobody to have no meetings. I ain't told nobody. I seen one bro, he posting training videos. Y'all, we don't move like that. NFAC don't move like that. That's why you can't tell us who we are. That's why you don't know where we at. That's why you don't know nothing but me. The rest ain't none of your business. So if you see somebody on here trying to high sign and do this, that, and the third, and look at what we doing over here, and this, not us. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it publicly. Somebody running around taking pictures of some brothers that we actually respect, the Huey Newton Gun Club, and they taking pictures of them and they putting NFAC letters on it and trying to recruit people. That's not us. We got bigger fish to fry. We're not sitting around trying to fight our own brothers and sisters. We're on a global mission. We're trying to get our people free. We ain't got time for crab apple or crabs in the barrel, what the hell y'all call them. We ain't got time for that. We bigger than that. We grown folks. We ain't on that little boy shit. Y'all got me on my morning mental for real. So to the Louisville situation, there's more coming out on this, y'all. I know it's already jacked up, but y'all, I know a lot of people calling me all weekend. Yo, man, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. We set. I gave them to Wednesday to talk to me. Come back. They already reached out. I'm cool with that. Come on back. I gave y'all some things. If y'all don't, then you invite the other thing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I had to ask myself this, and I'm about to get into the last part of my morning mental. And now it's time for me to dig into the ancient books. Y'all know I always give you some of the ancient books before I let you leave so that you can hear from what thus our ancestors have said. I find it funny that there are those of you who still running around trying to figure me out. There's those of you that because I don't fit the mold of what you used to, you call me an agent. An agent for what? An agent for change? I be that. An agent for liberation? I be that. An agent for unification? I be that. An agent for going to war against our enemies because they're at war with us? I be that. But I'm anything but that. Do you think I am? Because you're threatened when someone comes along who's about that action because you just like sitting in your chair and feeling important. I'd rather pick up the chair and hit the enemy over the head with it. That's what Malcolm said. That's what Huey said. That's what Marcus said. What do you say? I find it interesting that I hear that. I even hear people who try to put me in a category that I don't fit into. Or he's this, or he's that, or he's this, or he's that. And y'all keep forgetting that I'm none of you and I'm all of you. And if you can't understand that, then you need to go study your own stuff. It's not written anywhere that all of a sudden something's going to fall out the sky and everything's going to be okay. It said there'll be wars, there'll be famine, there'll be pestilence, there'll be turbulence, there'll be tribulations, there'll be all these things. And y'all think y'all can put a robe and a hat on and just float through that shit. Don't work like that. Then you truly don't have the ancestor spirits in you. And I question, who are you working for? The first person to normally accuse you of something is the person that's actually doing what they're saying that you're doing. Think about that the next time you sit down and you feed into some negativity about the black movement, about the NFAC, about me, or anything that has to do with liberating our people. You think about that. Always question, why are you telling me this? Because some people are comfortable in their captivity. They're doing good in their captivity. They don't want nobody to disturb their captivity. How dare you come along and disturb? I got it going on right here in captivity. So I'm going to first start off, and I'm going to go. Y'all know I like to always, because this is where our problem is. I keep going to the same medicine cabinet and getting the same thing because the wound is still the same. So I'm going to jump into the book of Morals and Precepts. And for those of y'all who don't know, that was formerly called the Book of Establishments. This book is the third book of the great book of the Sons of Fire, and it contains the teachings of the great unnamed first masters and the hidden wisdom as recorded in earlier times from books written in the sacred letters and made indestructible of gold from Kemet. And the interesting thing is there is a piece inside of this book that it has to deal with the people that I'm dealing with today. Today, if I can talk just for a few minutes, we're never going to feel good and be unified. We're never going to get to our Wakanda, if that's what you want to call it. We're never going to get there as long as two things exist within our community. One of those is lying and the other one is deceit. And even though they have laws on the books about liars, and even though they've told you in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not lie, what they never do is break down the intricacies of lying and deceit as they manifest themselves inside of our spirit, inside of our melanin. The book says, avoid the liar, turn from his path, but fear him not, for falsehood is the weapon of a coward. A lying tongue reveals a craven heart. Let me break that down to you. It says that don't have nothing to do with him because he's lying. Okay? But remember, the person who lies on you, they're a coward. Remember I said you scared. They just backed that up here in the book. It also says that your heart is craven. Most people don't know what craven means. You have a black heart. You're a black-hearted individual. It said lies and deceit are the merchandise of the weakling and the coward. They put 2 and 2 together. Now, if you all missed my class on the weakling, I know some women that left their men after I did that. If you need to go back and listen to that, because you might find out that, yes, you are a weakling, but this is worse. Not only are you a weakling, but you're a coward too. Doesn't look good for you, bro. Doesn't look good at all. Avoid contamination from their foul wares by shunning their company. Putrid meat defiles the pure air. They're saying you stinking up the joint. We trying to get on one accord. We trying to move forward. We trying to uplift our people. We trying to step in the gap for our people, and you stinking up the joint. I've seen some of the stuff that people are talking about right now that amazes me, that people still have the audacity to criticize anything that moves us forward in spite of all of the stuff that's happening to us. And the people getting them straight like, bruh, why you say something like that? You get what I'm saying? Because they are talked about in the ancient books. They will exist around us. It says, leave the liar alone to squat in his web of falsehood spread for the unwary. Listen what they said. The liar weaves a web like a spider. When you come along, don't know what's going on, you walk right into his web because you're not paying attention. Despite his shifty mind, his front is bold and his manner is confident. His words are strong, but within, his heart trembles and his spirit is shrouded under a mantle of fear. They talk strong. Get up there and tell you, don't do that. Do this. Why? Because something that I believe in says so. Even though you know in your heart and your soul, you feel that, I hear you, but what he's saying sounds right. Now, I know I've been down with y'all a long time, but we ain't moved nowhere, but they moving. And look, I know it maybe, okay, it don't line up the way that you've been telling us, but it still lines up. You got to realize they talk real strong, but in their hearts, they're bitter and they're scared. I'm not making this up. I'm just reading it out the book. It says lying and slander, weapons despised and rejected by the real man, loom large in the armament of the weakling. A weakling is going to lie on you. They're also going to slander you. A weakling won't confront you face to face. They'll make fake pages about you, or they'll go and try to bring up some old stuff, they try to tear into you because they can't stand on the same level as you. And they can't even begin to understand how you stand on that level because they don't have a connection with the Most High. That's really what it is. And I have a question to everybody on my live. Who made you an authority on who the Most High chooses to do his work? I missed the memo. Can you send that over to me? I want to see something. Just for a minute. Because most of y'all don't understand that by opening your mouth, what you're doing is also fulfilling scripture. That by you doing what you're doing, you're actually walking in the path of the hypocrite and the liar and the slanderer and the deceitful ones that must come forward during this season. See, we always knew there was going to be liars. We always knew there was going to be people who was going to be deceitful. I just could never figure out what was they going to be lying about. It would have to be when we start to reveal the truth, so that you can get your mind right to go through the season that we got to go through. People gonna lie about, oh, no, don't believe that. Stay in darkness with us. No, we don't line up with that. Because we trying to tiptoe through and they trying to bully their way through. You gonna get us all killed. You're gonna get killed anyway. Anyway, that's another lesson for another time. It goes on to say that he who makes himself the friend of the liar lacks wisdom. So if you're one of those people who believe everything that somebody tell you and you don't go do your own research, or you don't do thorough research, or in my particular instance, I'm built like this. If you can't pick up the phone and call them and ask them face to, or go see them about it, then you shouldn't even get involved in it. Because now what you're doing is spreading false information, and now it shows you have no wisdom whatsoever. It says here that friendship of a double-tongued one is like dwelling in the abode built over a chasm. When you got two-faced friends, your house is built on a shaky foundation. So when it collapses, you're going to get caught up in that mess. That's why I don't deal with messy people. But this is the part that should really concern all the children of Yah. It says Yahweh turns his back on the hawker of lies, and an abomination to him is the man who nourishes a secret grudge. I can stop right there. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop right there. I was going to go a little further than that, but I'm going to stop right there because I could stick right here all day. The individual that stoops to this level and harbors a secret grudge. You ever had somebody where you just don't like them? What's the problem? And they just go on and on and on and on. They are an abomination in the eyes of the Creator. He don't turn his back on you. And you know what is written. If y'all want to get into some different scripture, it says that when your ways do not please Yah, he will give you over to a reprobate mind. That means that whatever you think of that you're going to think is right, he's going to let you think it because you're walking straight to your own destruction. And he's going to let you do it because you're just so black-hearted, you're so stubborn, you're so stupid. You're walking around harboring secret grudges. You envious, you jealous, you covetous, you just hateful. But you hide it. Well, I ain't got nothing against him. I'm just saying, look at this. Really? You're an abomination. And we ain't got time for you right now. And y'all got people like that around in your lives. They always want to point out something negative no matter what you do. There's somebody right now that's listening to me that understands that, damn, I did all of this and all they focused on was this right here. And when you do something and people pick up the phone and call you and the first thing out their mouth is what you did wrong, hang the phone up. So don't call me back till you got some positive. Matter of fact, we got a rule. When you call me, you got to say something positive first before I'm even going to talk to you. Same thing with the media. Before you speak on black people, have something positive to say about us before you start giving all these statistics about how fucked up we are. That should apply to everything that we do. Before you can speak on this wounded people who need to stop playing the victim role. Oh, I said it. We need to stop playing the victim role. And while I'm at it, I want to go ahead and I'm going to open up this discussion and I'm going to put it away real quick because some of y'all are not going to like what I'm about to say. But I'm going to say it anyway. That is this, that when you decide that you want to stop playing the victim and you want to actually get involved with what's going on, ain't nobody going to stop you. Nobody. Ain't nobody going to tell you, you can't do that. Because if you do that, no. No one's going to say anything to you because everybody loves when you finally step up. Everybody love that, even if they're not ready to step up. Okay? But what you don't want to do is don't sit there and talk about what somebody else is going to step up if you're not going to step up yourself. And stop trying to call other people in to handle things that you can handle yourself. That's one of our main problems. Let me give you all a prime example. It's a situation going on in New York right now, out in Long Island. There's a young lady out there. Her neighbor keeps throwing feces in her yard. He's talking about he's going to disappear her. She needs some protection. Oh, please, somebody come help this single woman all by herself. Y'all think I don't know about the situation? I know more about the situation than you think I do. But I also know that that's right above New York City, where you have all these brothers, all these sisters. Y'all heard the story. What y'all doing? Y'all tossing it over the fence to us. Somebody need to get there and do something. Do you know New York City law when it comes to guns? Are you a legal gun owner in the New York City Metroplex? Do you have access to transportation that you can't ride your ass out there to that girl house? It's all on the news. ABC done already covered it. This ain't like y'all telling me something that don't nobody know about. But here's what blows my mind. New York City, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, money making. We're talking about Harlem. All them gunners up there, all them shooters up there. And y'all mean to tell me y'all got somebody on Strong Island, y'all can't ride out there? Y'all need for us to come marching into your city? See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Stop playing the victim. We are not victims. Okay, they doing that shit. Somebody pull up. That shouldn't even be public. They should have an update talking about, well, you know, the woman that said the man was throwing feces in her yard has reported that all of that stopped. The police are still investigating who burnt down the goddamn house and shot at the man who was ran off into the night, never to return. I don't see shit like that. I get this victim shit. Ooh, what we gonna do? The fuck you mean what you gonna do? Y'all got to wake up. This shit is becoming, you know what? I don't know what they put in the water, what's in the food, but this shit is working. On the other hand, and I love this sister, I'm not going to put her business out there, but you can buy yourself a gun. You can buy yourself a shotgun. You can buy yourself a semi-automatic weapon. You could get your CCP. You could join a gun club in your area. Most of the time, all you got to do is go to the range. You'll find most of them there and build a relationship with them. You could defend your own home, like I tell a lot of people. Or you could find somebody in your immediate circle who does have a gun and have them come over. Because the same way you install the camera, you can purchase a weapon. And what I'm trying to say to us is we have to start learning to defend ourselves. Why are you still walking around without a weapon and you can legally own one? Why are you still sitting around talking about, ooh, look what they doing when you're not prepared to do anything? That's what's starting to look, this is even worse than the cowardice. Now I'm just sitting back like, I cannot believe 45 million black people and y'all still ain't got the memo yet. Guns. I'm going to keep saying it. No, I want to see a story where a woman shoots man in ass for putting shit in her yard. Y'all stop being scary. Stop playing the victim. By the way, before I go, I just want to let y'all know that I got it on a reliable source, that the NFAC doesn't give a fuck about these scary ass rumors y'all putting out. I got that from a reliable source. In the meantime and in between time, I've held y'all too long. I hope that you have a wonderful day. This has been my morning mental. I hope that y'all would join me tonight for Facts Over Feelings. We got some stuff we have to address. Once again, I reiterate to you that if you see NFAC on any other page on Instagram, it is not official. Be careful who you jump in bed with. You might not be able to get out. And we've all seen the movie, The Burning Bed. I hope that I put some things on your mind to make you think, make you have a better day, make you see things for what they are. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tonight. I want to talk about something tonight that's probably going to seem completely off base, but we got to deal with it. And that is how we go about delegating the jobs within our community so that you all can start to build the 5 pillars of a new nation. Now, a lot of folks are saying, well, I don't want to leave. You don't want to leave, right? But you also know that asking the United States government politely to give us that which is owed to us, they're not going to do that. So then what are you going to do? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. I know it's a question that I've asked myself several times. So that being said, have a great day. If you have any questions as far as joining the NFAC, I've already told you that enrollment is open. You have to submit your contact information to this email address, not a web address, email address, info, little @ symbol, blacknfac.com. Don't expect to hear right away from us right away. We are swamped. Thousands of individuals want to be a part of the Black militia. That should tell you how bad it is out there, okay? White folks, you can help us, but you can't join us. If you truly want to help, you can talk to your own people, or you can shoot an email to info@blacknfac.com and tell us what exactly kind of help are you offering, because you won't be standing out there next to me with a weapon. And that's for damn sure. We ain't having that happen at all. But what I will say to all of the good people that are here is that once we figure out where we're going, then we just need to get up and go there. I know I'm going. I hope you'll go with me. Keep your head up to the sky. Keep your feet on the ground. We are a royal people. We are a special people. And let me address something real quick before I go, because there's people who always want to jump on terminology, but never want to jump on the front lines. And that is when I talk about the 12 tribes, I can separate them by the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes. I can separate them by the northern tribes. I can do all of that, but I don't separate us. You know why I don't separate us? I don't separate the black Hebrew Israelites from the Nation of Islam, from those in the church, from those who don't believe, from those from Africa, from those in America, from those in the Caribbean, from those in South America, from those in Europe. I don't do that. You know why I don't do that? I don't separate us because our enemy does not separate us either. You understand what I'm saying? So why are you trying to separate? You are all my family, and I am all of you. Because if I'm not, then what am I? That's our problem. We got an identity crisis going here, y'all. And some people are scared, and some people are weaklings, and some people are cowards, and some people are thieves, and some people are liars, but they still my brothers and sisters. Think about that. Ain't nobody got a perfect family. And our family, we crazy. I know that. But if somebody got to sit in the chair to at least drive the crazy bus, y'all stop fighting over who gave me the keys, and let's just go. We can argue about it once we establish the United States of Africa. We can talk about it all day at the Black World Assembly. Isn't it strange that I got people who are ready to accept what we're talking about, except the people right here who will benefit the most? I bid you a shalom. Remember, feet on the ground, head to the sky. Grandmaster Jay, the official. And I'll see y'all tonight, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Facts over feelings. Still waiting to hear from you, Louisville. Breonna Taylor's on my mind.